Hey guys, this is Bao, and welcome to another chess video. Another day, another game, right? Sorry I'm starting a little late today. The hackathon in my town went a little late, and I've been helping out, mentoring, quote unquote. I don't really have any skills to help these guys, and the students are so much smarter than I am. But they need adult supervision, I guess, so I was there helping out where I could. A lot of my coworkers were really awesome there, helping the students. It's a very cool kind of event, and I'm happy that I got to be a part of it. But yeah, I got home, had to get dinner. Life got in the way, and just now at about 10:30, I'm finally sitting down to play my game for the day. Thankfully, at the hack while we were helping, I got to play some correspondence matches with some of my coworkers, so it's been a pretty cool day. I feel like maybe my tactics aren't up to practice. They're not quite warmed up, but I'm okay. I'm feeling good, and I'm pretty excited to play. Yeah. And today, I'm going to make sure that I don't run as long as I did yesterday. Yesterday was wild, 2 hour long chess video. That's like way too much. So definitely gonna try to cut down today, and but we're not going to skip out on the analysis or the practice. So let's see how well we do today. 20 plus 3. Why does 20 plus 3 sound more than 15? 15. Oh no. Oh, here's a 2030. That's perfect. So we'll play this 2030. Good luck, have fun. And I won't focus so much on the analytic. Oh, Jesus Christ. What was that? I won't focus so much on the analytical piece and the process piece as much today. But we're still going to make sure. Oh my God, that sound. Good God, that's loud. Let's hope it doesn't do that ting again. But I don't want to skip out on any good practice on our process. So let's just play as we do and try to make use of this list. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Make use of this list as much as we can. We want to focus on pawn structures, pawn count, all of these good things. Open files, strong diagonals. Look at our major pieces. Look at our minor pieces. Check out some tactics. Then we want to go into positional and strategic play, and then ask ourselves very basic questions before we make any moves. Music's getting pretty loud too, so let's turn that down a bit. Oh, actually, I guess I should have just turned it down on my headphones. Anyway, so continuing on the play. Moves his bishop up here, pinning my knight from defending my imaginary pawn on d4 because of the queen here. The question would be, do I push or do I move? For now, I think what I'll do is push one. This will be fun. Let's see how I'm interested to see what the computer says about these moves that I'm about to make. Let's see how inefficient they are. So I'll be pushing once first, and generally the normal reply or the standard reply a lot of players have is to move here. Obviously he can't move here right now because that square is in danger. And what I'm hoping to do after I do this is to move my bishop, my light squared bishop, from f1 to e2. And in doing so, opening up this section, the kingside section behind this pawn shield, for my castling. So this move is in one way to kind of put threats on his bishop on g4, but it's also to give me automatic luft before I take out my bishop and castle. He's thinking quite a lot about his next move, so let's just take account of our situation right now. He has a pretty good pawn structure going over here on the queen side. And I would say on the other side, I'm not doing so bad either. And dare I say, maybe my pawn structure is a little bit better because I have some pretty decent, strong control of the center. The sweet spot is taken over by a lot more of my pieces, and I control a bit more of the territory with what I have. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like where my knight is right now, and hopefully after a couple moves, we can put him in an even sexier position. I mean, a direct route over here isn't bad right now. There aren't a lot of pieces attacking it. So going over here, his new home would put him in a very great position to hinder, what the dick? Hinder his development. And it looks like our chessmate has left. That's shitty, and I guess I'll just call it draw. Wow. I was really getting into that game too. God damn it. So I guess we're just gonna have to find another game. Alright. Let's see. Here's a 30-1. That's perfect. Right around my level. So let's start again. This time we'll be playing on the black side. That's cool. That's cool. I don't often get to play the black side, but if I know anything about myself, I think I'm pretty shitty on my black side. So we'll see how this goes. Alright. He's starting with an attack on my pawn on e5. I'll defend. On c6 with my knight. Hopefully putting some pressure for his potential future d4 move. And he's starting with a Ruy Lopez. I love it. And in fact, we can still kind of do what we wanted to do. First thing I'll do actually, though, is move my piece here. Because we do want to move this bishop with my incredibly super cool move that I wanted to practice. Which is the... Oh, God. I did it on the wrong side, too. Dicks. Oh, well. This will be a cool move anyway, I guess. I really flubbed the pooch on this one. Alright, that's cool. So, it's starting out pretty normal, pretty simple. And he's closing his avenue of retreat in one way, but I'm not too worried for him. He can back up here, and then he can back up over here, and then he'll be attacking this delicious whatchamacallit square, f7 square. So I'm not too worried. He moves back one, I move back another, and I think we're going for a queenside castling, and it'll be cool. It'll be very fun to kind of develop my queenside pieces first. As I've said, I'm not very good at playing this whatchamacallit line, so the black side, so it will be pretty cool to see what happens. And now, since I'm not pinned anymore and he's trying to attack me, I'm just gonna push forward and he's gonna have to deal with it. Good move for him right now would be to move there. That's a solid move. That's excellent. That's excellent. And next move, right now, all of his potential move squares are pretty shit. So I don't feel too worried about him being where he is. And my question is, how do I get this queen out of the way? Can't move there. Can't move there. Can't move there. Can't move there. So I'm kind of SOL on my queen. So if I want to actually develop or castle on my queen side, I'm gonna have to do some work. Interestingly enough, however, right now I could potentially do this. But I think doing this is probably a smarter move. Yes. I could have gone for my dark squared bishop on b4, putting a check on his king, but that can quickly be taken care of with just a simple pawn move up to c3, or just a bishop trade. It would have been interesting to see what would have happened there. Alright, now we have an attack with a bishop straight for our queen, and I know none of these places right now are a good place for me. So what I'm going to do is move my pawn up there, and thankfully my static knight is a great defender right now. And now at this point the bishop is going to have to retreat back, and let's start thinking carefully about what we want to do next, because things are getting a little tricky. The way to get rid of this piece at this moment is to go for a trade with our knight. If we're going to do that trade, we're going to have to make sure this piece has enough defenders when we move our knight over there. Sadly, we don't have enough defenders. The thing is, though, if something awry does happen, let's say, so we do move our knight to e7, then the bishop can come in, but then we'll trade, and then the knight will jump here, putting us into check. Okay, that's pretty bad. Or in another sense, we could move to e7, and instead of dealing with the trade, the knight could just take then, putting us into check. We would eat, bishop would come, and then our knight queen would be in danger. Either way, they would be losing a piece, while I would potentially be losing the ability to either castle and potentially later more dangerous threats, or I would have to move my queen out of the way, which doesn't feel too bad actually, especially if they're thinking about trading a minor piece for a pawn. But as we are playing right now, it's hard to say. There's no real good way to scare this bishop away, because if I move up to g5, I'll be losing a defender for my piece here. So it's a very tricky situation. So maybe at this point it might be better to leave the defenders as is and start thinking about a different move. Start thinking about something like this. At that point, I have to think about what pieces, let's see what I say in my notes, what squares and pieces was your piece defending? Are you moving where they have more attackers? That's obvious, something we have to count. And are you moving somewhere they can fork? So let's think about this. Let's say I move from c6 to b4. If I do so, he will have at least one attacking piece on me. Indeed, indeed. I will have at least one defender, so that's not too bad. I don't see any other potential attack at that point. And if he doesn't deal with that shit, I'm just going to try to get rid of this knight, because this knight is much better developed, and this knight would be pretty decently developed, but this knight is really bugging me. So I want to take him out. Even if it means that maybe a pawn comes in, then we can take care of that some other way. Easy, easy, snip, snip. Let's make sure there aren't any things we're missing. For instance, if I move here, bishop can take there. No, I don't think so. I don't think it'll be too bad. If the knight goes here, bishop could take. queen could take there. And the knight's still in a pretty shit place. So we could do something like this at that point, but I end up winning in every trade. So after doing a haphazard kind of analysis for potentials, I think I'm in an okay spot. So I'm going to move my knight there for now. For those of you who didn't hear, that was me farting. I had burritos for dinner tonight, and they are now starting to come back and haunt me. This actually turns out to be quite a fortunate set of events for me, because while I am opening up for some kind of trade that I'm defended for, I'm also opening up a path of attack for a piece that he does not have any kind of defense for right now. Okay, so that's not what I expected. But I see what he did there. That's a genius move, and I super like it. I think that's a very cool move. And I guess another move he's thinking about is something like this. But the problem is I can always take with this. And so even though he's done this, I think he's put himself into a worse trade scenario by trying to do some kind of a Zwischenzug attack. Yeah, in short, he's fucked himself now. And I'm happy to take all of his minor pieces. In fact, something I didn't notice about the situation we're in is this. If he decides to take there and I take, that puts him one tempo back. And obviously he's not going to queen that, so he's going to have to move, or he's going to have to put his piece there. At which point, well, I guess that's not too bad, because then I'd be forced to move my bishop back as well. But I am definitely in a better position on these trades when the trades will happen. So I'm very excited about this. I'm especially looking forward to something like this now. Right? I get my queen out of harm's way. Ah, he's playing very smart. So now he has a choice. Which one of my minor pieces does he want to take? We'll see what he decides to do. If he goes for this piece, no, he won't. And that's shitty on his part. I can actually wait on that move for now. And in fact, I'm starting to think about this. Get the immediate trade that I want. Because right now, there's not a lot of places this knight can move, except backwards, right? And when he does, I can move my piece back. If he decides not to, well then at that point, I can just go for his piece. So here's another interesting move. What if this happens? Then bishop can, right? But then I can. I don't really see a lot of losses to this either. So things are very interesting. There's a lot of tension of trades on the board. But for a lot of these tensions, he's kind of making the mistake that I used to make a lot, which is not thinking about the correct, legitimate Zwischenzugs or in-between moves before he makes them. I kind of understand why he would go for something like this, but you have to realize a Zwischenzug isn't very good if you end up being put on your back step, having to use your tempo just for a defensive purpose. So right now I see something like this happening. That's pretty good. That's not bad. But at that point, I'm totally okay to do this. Or do this, actually. That'd be the better move. Because then I can still keep my defenders on my f-pawn. And so if he does decide to, you know, and then go for that, I would take that. And I'd be up ahead a whole shit ton. So I'm not very worried right now. Let's see what he decides to do. The ball's really in his court now at this point to see. And just kind of to see where we're at on the pieces. If we take a look right now, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 7 pawns, and I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I'm sorry. He had a double pawn here. So he has all 8 of his pawns, while I have traded a pawn for one of his minor pieces so far. And the way the game's gonna go, I'm going to be up probably 2 points by the end of this. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see how this goes. And I'm sorry tonight if I sound a bit Bob Rossi. Yeah. So now that he's been placed into an even shittier position, let's can't move here, can't move there. I'm going to attack. I was going to go for my own Zwischenzug, but I don't see anything really good. I see a couple of potential moves right now. You know? This would be a great way to get double pawns up on this shit. Or I mean dual pawns, a pawn pair on the center. But let's carefully calculate each one before we make the move. How about that? I can do this. That puts pressure on his bishop. That's great. He can't move there. I would be moving my pawn out of danger at the same time. He can't move to any of these spaces right now. So he would have to back up. He would have to at least back up one of his pieces. If I move my bishop up, he can simply take my bishop, at which point I could take his piece. Honestly, the easiest, quickest thing that I see is to get rid of these really troublesome knights from the game as quickly as possible, and then we'd be on a dark bishop game, which would be a pretty interesting place to be, especially with a dark bishop, or I mean a dark pawn slant going on. I don't exactly know how I feel about that. Yeah, I don't know. I could also potentially just move back, but there aren't any real good squares. I guess this would be a good square for me. Just to see if I can elongate my chances of living with this bishop. And I think that would be kind of cute. In fact, why don't we do that? So instead of going for any kind of trade in this scenario, I've decided it's going to be more fun to try to keep my pieces and see how badly I can win as I try to hold on to my hubris and greed. Won't that be fun? So we'll see what kind of move comes out next. Obviously a very simple move that he could think of would be something like this right now. But I'll meet that with a Zwischen or an en passant. That's right. That's the word. So if he decides to jump his pawn to c4, I'll en passant, and then my bishop will be safe. It's not as if this one piece was doing a lot at this point. Moving him one diagonal further isn't a bad idea. And at this point, he decides to castle, which is just the dumbest idea, because now we're going to trade. Oh, I see. I see what he's saying. Oh, no, he's still fucked. Oh, no, just kidding. I'm a dum-dum. So, seeing that if I take, he takes check, I have to take check. Take. I mean, that's not bad. Yeah, I'm okay actually with that. If he wants to play that game, that's fine. But I don't think he's gonna have the balls to make this move. So I'm in quite a good position actually now, because he's not going to make this move, and I'm up 5 points. So this game is becoming strangely very one-sided. And I think with the way the pawns are structured at this point, I have two choices. Move my king over to the king's side or the queen's side, and then have him safe while I push out this rook to the king's side for the final last hurrah. Or, dare I suggest this? Why not just do what I did in my game from last night and go balls to the walls like a crazy person? And I think I really enjoy that idea. So we'll see how that works. We'll see if balls to the walls bow can actually win. Idea would be that since we have some pawns already pretty strong over here, that we'll try to push up even further. This is an interesting queen's move, and I think I kind of understand. He's going to try to get, I think, his long rook into the game, and that's smart. Thing is, right now, I think my goal should be to develop more. It really should. And that means putting my queen up where it belongs. But this looks very tempting. But as I've kind of learned from watching a lot of games, especially of great players like John Bartholomew or any of the great YouTube masters, Ginger, King's Crusher, etc., it's that being a little too aggressive on the attack can in the end hurt you. So what I'm actually going to do right now is do what I'm supposed to do and develop in the correct manner. So let's think about what the actual correct manner is. If I move my queen over here right now, I'm going to lose my ability to move my knight. And I don't want to put my knight here. As I say, a knight on the rim is a piece of tin. No, that's not what they say. They say a knight on the rim is dim. And so when he's here, he's not going to have a lot of attacking choices. So I'd really like to do is move him over here and kind of put him on this square. And look at the beautiful chances he has. And even if a rim dim knight exists here, this is still a beautiful place to be. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to find a way to develop my queen while also defending pieces, right? Defending each other, coordination, while opening up the end goal. So I like this. We're stopping the pawn from doing any kind of silly shenanigans, messing with my beautiful pawn wall. While on the other side, if he decides to still do this pawn move to c4, I'm excited for en passant. En passant. So I'm pretty happy about that. Because after the en passant, that would mean that his d3 knight's going to be vulnerable. Because I don't think the queen's going to be there for very much longer. Now we'll see how he decides to barrel down over here. I'm guessing he's going to try to do a battery attack directly on my king. But my next move will be to move the king away. He just doesn't have enough pieces. And as soon as I move my pawn on the g file up to g5, he's going to have even less places to go, actually. So we'll see how that goes. So my next question is this. Should I castle now? Or at this point in the juncture of our game, should I develop? And I like the idea of developing a lot. Developing gives me speed, tempo, a lot of places of attack. However, developing too quickly might not be a good answer because there is a pawn move I do want to play at some point. So knowing that this pawn move is going to happen if this bishop stays there, maybe castling to see what he does next isn't a bad idea. Of course, if he pushes with this knight, we're going to have to move back. But at that point, there's going to be a knight here, or I mean, there's going to be a rook here. There's going to be a bishop here. There's going to be a queen here. It's going to be pretty difficult for him to do any kind of shenanigans, really, to do a pawn storm to try and break down and weather my pawn shield. That's going to be a very rare event, especially when we start discussing the potentials of this battery going on. You see it, and I see it. But the question is, what good is a battery if there isn't a follow-up, right? So just doing a battery isn't good enough. And right now, in this situation, I can't really do anything besides a battery. And, well, I can't even do the battery because of the discovered check that'll be there. So first, we're going to just calmly castle our king. And now we're in a very good position. I like where we're at. Ah, and he does move his he does move his pawn there, so we definitely do want to move our bishop out of the way. We've been saving him for quite a while, so we don't want to lose him just yet. And now at this point, I now understand what I was waiting for. Rook to e8. We move rook to e8. We do our battery. King's forced to move. Probably that would be the better way to move. And then at that point, rook takes. Oh, but then king could take, but then we could check. It could be a very interesting place. Interestingly enough, he's just made a blunder and left a hanging piece. Before we leave, we want to make sure, however, that this piece is defended as it should be. So let's say I take this piece. That can happen, and that can happen, and this can happen, and that can happen. That's a pretty shitty place to be. So for now, as frustrating as it might be, I think I'm at a point where I might just have to let this pawn play out. But I think if I do that, it can lead to pretty detrimental backside attacks. So I'm going to have to be forced to move my queen there. And we'll just see what happens from this point. Because shit's getting fucking real, yo. You know what I'm saying, hoes? right now, I see a potential where if he took with the bishop on f6, and I tried to defend with my knight on g6, then that would allow him to take here, and then my knight would have to be forced to move somewhere else. But then we would have two very strong pieces lurking within. So he decides to take that way, which I don't think that was necessarily the best way to trade. Yeah, that wasn't the best way to trade. And I'll give you the reason why very shortly. Because he's going to take, and I'm going to take with the king. And then he'll come with the queen. But he's forgotten that my queen had been sitting originally on the e7 square. And he's just lost. I would have given him the take back. I don't see what the problem is. That got pretty fucking frightening though, huh? That was an awesome game. Good game. Thank you very much. And a rematch has been offered. So you know what? It's been a good one. We've played about 7 minutes on my side, 3 minutes on his side. Or actually, I'm sorry, 13 minutes on his side and 17 minutes on his side. So close to 30 minutes. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't. Alright, so let's play again. And this time I'm on my strong side. So let's see how this goes. And the funny thing is, he opened Ruy Lopez. And the funny thing is, we're going to be opening right back on the Ruy Lopez. The same as him. So this will be quite an interesting game indeed. And as much as I didn't want us getting too long, this might become a long game. And I know I promised Ruy Lopez, but when I see this opening now, it's hard for me not to answer back first. And in fact, this is very unlike Ruy Lopez. So, you know what they say in the art of war, to something your enemy, something you must something your friends. So that's what's happening now. To trick your enemies, you must trick your friends or some shit. And let's see what we should do. Let's take a very careful measure of where our positions are. This pawn is hanging right now. So that is definitely something we want to look at. It's not something we want to leave for too long. I'm really feeling this move right now though. Let's see where this knight can move. At this moment, however, all of these places are defended. In moving this piece, do I lose defense of any of the squares? No. So I am going to do this. And we'll see where he decides to move his knight. He doesn't want to lose his knight too early in the game. So I'm thinking he might have to go to a grim square. Back on a6 actually. We've put him in quite a bit of a conundrum, if you will. So the question is, he's probably going to defend. He's not going to trade. So the next question that comes into our mind is, which way do we want to develop? And I think for now my answer is this. I will open up both sides, and then depending on where the board is after our continuation of development, I will consider developing in a specific location. Since my piece has come here, since my opponent is going to have to move back, I think I'm going to develop my knight over onto this side. So he moves over here. His potential move back places are going to be here and here. That's cool. That's very cool for him. And I'm going to move here and take serious control of my domain. And I think that'll be really nice. Moving here, maybe getting my bishop out at some point. That'll be nice too. Well, if I do that, then my dark squared bishop isn't going to have a way to get out. So before I even think about moving my knight, I may have to consider first moving my bishop out. And with the way that he structured his pawns over here, these spaces are no-goes for me right now. So what I should really do is move my bishop over here. This seems to be the most ideal spot. So bishop over here, knight over here, perhaps my light squared bishop over here, and the queen I can move back over here, or maybe just place over here for now. At that point, depending on how the game's gone, and with the way that his bishop is going to end up on this square, and with the way that the pawn structure diagonal has happened, I'm guessing towards something like this. I'm probably going to castle again on the other side. And we'll see how that goes on the king side. Because I think looking at the positions or the pawn structures as they are now, it really seems like it does seem like a queen side sort of game. And something that I've realized that I need to take into account is that if I move my bishop out over here, it's actually gonna become a bit of a challenge for me to move my knight out. Actually, although I can move my knight out there, which will be nice. It's kind of on the edge, but actually, let's be good. Let's just only move my bishop here, my other bishop here, my knight over here, and my queen here, and then we can move over there. We'll start looking at this. Is unfavorable to have so many things clustered up though, so let's try to actually open some breadth to our play. And in fact, dare I say, well, for now, yes. Let us dare. Yes. I have a plan, and it goes like this. Make him play c6. Drop to c5. Make him play b5. Reinforce the idea that he should play over here. Beautiful. And now if he wants to trade, he can. I do like my light squared bishops very much, though. We'll see. Let's see what kind of game we can start getting in here. Very interesting formations we've got going. Sadly, he's pinned himself because now he can't actually take that without me just taking his queen. So my next move will be to, I'm so glad that I added this feature. Holy Jesus fucks. So my next move, as he has now started putting more and more pressure on the left side, is to start moving my other shit over there. And we're just taking squares. We're just playing calmly right now, allowing whatever happens to happen. We don't have to worry about any kind of distinct we don't have to worry about any kind of specific distinct things happening. So this is another potential that I see right now. And then finally this piece is here. Wait, where does the trade end? Because he can't take. I'm excited to see where he decides to take this. And then a second question comes to me. As I open up this left queen side for more attacks, what's going to happen? So the queen can potentially attack my rook, which is defended here, or take my pawn here, which is again defended, or yeah, I don't see anything really bad happening. And I'm opening up the side of the board that I know where the battle's gonna happen. And honestly, at this point, I've put a lot more pieces to battle than he has. Oh, there's the good old trade potential going on, but he doesn't have time to be worrying about things like this right now. He has too much potentials for loss going on. Oh, and I could have just taken his queen there, but I think this will definitely get him to look at his queen now and move away. If he doesn't move his queen right now, it's going to become kind of a problem for him. And this is the only real good trade I can make. Even if he still wants to take the rook, he can't. And now he's forced to move over there. So I've lost the potential to win a queen at some point. And that's definitely something I'm going to be embarrassed by for a long time. But that's just part of how the game goes, right? You get so focused on one side that you really lose focus sometimes. And seeing as how we opened up the square now, due to my own ineptitude, the only safe play I have now is to continue pushing on my left side and just see how much control I can take. So, let's move this here. If we do, oh no, we don't have to move that there. Well, shit dicks. We're up +2. And now we're just pushing the fuck out of his left side. This is fun, isn't it? I really wish I had taken that queen, but I want to say la vie, but it's really hard sometimes to let that kind of thing go, isn't it? So now we have to start preparing for what kind of movement we want on the side. We've really opened up this spot, and now I'm starting to think that that knight has to go. That knight is no good, even if it means getting some kind of silly trade. With my pawn structure right now, this is just too powerful in a way, you know? And actually, without that knight, right? Because you see that trade. I see this. And that's awesome too. Of course there's this. So I gotta be careful about what I do. Oh, but I have this. So yeah. I definitely want. Bao likes. I'll take a minor trade, and it might be a little hard, but now, when I move this here, I'll have 2 defenders against 2 attackers. It's not necessarily the best trade. Maybe I didn't think this through hard enough. But I do see something I can do just to fuck with him. A little bit. Just a little bit. Before we start taking a look at other options. Now I don't even have to think about moving this up. Now I can just do this. And he's going to have to move his queen. And I'm going to take that knight. Or I mean that rook. And we're in a really good spot right now. This is a very, very strong play, and half of his development just has not happened. And that's a good move. That's a good move. Not really. He's actually fucked himself even harder. Not really. He's okay. He's gonna be okay. He's gonna have to take that queen now. Gonna have to move. Have to move somewhere. Gotta move. Gotta move. And the thing is, this has just become a pain as I move. Okay. Okay. This is a very intense situation. I love it. This is great. This is the kind of shit that I play for. If you're not playing for shit like this in chess, what are you playing for, right? And we've just literally pushed our way to the left side as a strategic kind of positional play. Just because we saw, well, we didn't really see a weakness, did we? We just drew him out onto the queen's side. Just because we knew that's how he was going to try and defend the side with his knight over there. And he decides to resign. Ooh, good game, and thank you very much. So let's finish this on the analysis board, just because I want to see what beautiful things could have potentially happened. I think that's a wonderful play, right? That's super good. But now this play comes into attack. He takes, I take, or actually, you're right. You're right, computer. This is even better. This is even goddamn better. Then he takes, and then I have my queen again. And then what the hell is he gonna do? He's got to move this guy. And then it's like, great. Give me your P. Oh, no. That would put me into a... Yeah, I can take before. That would be sick. I'd be okay with that. Or, even better, just to really fuck with him. Oh, actually, he can't even move there. Because if he goes there, I'll just take. If he goes there... Oh, my God. That's fucked. Alright, well, fuck. I mean, this is All levels are fucked at this point, man. Why would that be a good move? Oh goodness, that's silly. That's not a good move on my part either. Why does it keep saying that I should do that? How is this a good move? Oh my gosh. Yeah, in fact, this would be the right move, right? Great, pawns, yeah. Okay. Alright. Oh, I probably shouldn't do that. What I should do is probably this, huh? Yeah. Now we're just playing with a dead duck. So yeah, that's very good. I'm quite proud of how this game went, the second game. The computer's probably not going to be very happy with me, but I'm very excited to see how this game went. However, we should probably take this in a chronological order and start with our first game. So if we open this in a new tab, is that not a thing? How dare you? Alright, we'll just go to our profile. We can always go back to that game. And let's go back to our first game. And let's see how that was played. Starting from the beginning. He opened very Lopez. And then in response I said, sure, do the bishop. Do the bishop trade. I love the bishop trade. And interestingly enough, computer, oh, I should turn this off. Computer says that, oh, but if I do that, I can't see the moves. Show threats? What is that? Don't show threats. Let's see if I can turn off evaluation. I can do evaluation. Turn that off. Great. So now we can just see how badly my moves are. Apparently this move, not a good move to do. Oh, because I'm thinking something like this. That's a pretty crazy guy that I am. Now, I'm trying to put pressure on his bishop. Bishop moves. And I put a defense for my knight, but still, this kind of problem exists. Thankfully now, it can kind of go more like this. At which point, both sides, well, he'll be 2 pawns at least. He'll be a pawn up. So that's not a bad place for him. He's putting more pressure on me. But I guess this was a very shoddy move because he's putting himself into this situation now. But I think he did a great job moving up into my stuff, being defended by his pawn. And in retaliation, I decided to develop this way. And I'm thinking now, what was the point of me doing such a move? Why did I decide to develop that piece first? Because I'm happy that I did develop, and rightfully so, I should develop, and developing first is a key strategy for me. But additionally, I'm thinking that if I'm developing, there should always be a long-term potential attack that I'm setting into motion. And with this development, I'm not really seeing it. I think back when I was playing the game, if I remember correctly, towards what I said something about not playing here because helping him develop was not really a thing I wanted to do. But even if that's true, was putting my bishop, dark square bishop, on c5 the correct thing to do? And honestly, I'm not exactly too sure. So let's move on with the game and we'll see what happens next. He's putting pressure on my queen. I love how this fluctuates. That's so cool. It's like, whoop, white's doing good. Maybe not, just kidding. Takes some time. It's calculating. It's calculating. Oh, I see what these +2s and +5s mean now. Okay. And actually, the computer finds me in a more favorable position. Just kidding. It found another couple of games in the database. But, yeah. This is a healthy place for me. I don't think it's too bad. So I defended. That's natural, quite natural. And he moved his bishop back. And it was at this point when I got this potential pawn as a defender that I was a little too quick to move my knight out. Yes. Because right now, if you see this trade, that's not a good trade. So there's actually nothing I can do if the second knight comes in, which she did. Great. That's so smart. And actually, funny enough, computer doesn't think it was this smart. Oh, never mind. It keeps, yeah. He keeps his strength. That's a good move. But when he did that, he left a piece hanging. And I don't think I even saw this hanging piece until it was later. And in fact, what might have been better than him going here might have been to take first. But, oh no, because it moves my queen at that point, I see. Now I can safely take, and he's in a shit position. So what the fuck do I know? Without me calculating. So apparently that was the correct move to make, but in that sense he lost a hanging piece, and when he put my bishop into a dangerous position, I was able to take another piece for free, and then, wow, that just lowered his position a lot, interesting enough. Okay. I think opening that file maybe was not the best move, perhaps. And then I dropped it right back down. It would be really interesting to know what the best move idea was over here. Was he thinking something like this? Yeah. And at this point he would have to do something like this. And then I could just fall back over here. It likes the position, but I don't see a lot of potentials of attack here. Is this what you wanted me to do, computer? Apparently I just lost the game. I did lose the game. That's 9 points worth of losing the game. So maybe what I did wasn't too bad, although it seems like white is in a much better position. What I'm offering up is a trade at this point. You take another one of my pieces and I'll take another one of yours. I'll be up a minor piece. At this point, white says check, but easily defendable enough, as I've checked all of my pieces to make sure they're not hanging. And with this, I have potential to take. And at this point, holy Jesus, apparently, apparently at this point, white had the power to get really up. Maybe by doing something like this? I don't know. I really don't know sometimes. The computer can... Oh... Well, no. Well, no. That's 2 attackers, so he would get me at the end. So what is the move that he sees? Oh, I see. Something more devious like this. Yes. There you go. And that's a tactic for you, huh? That's a clear tactic. So... that should have been him to win, but giving me the chance to retort back lost him the whole game. Wow. It's amazing how just one move can make such a huge difference, huh? That's great. Oh man, that's such a brilliant move. That's great. But yeah, because it was my turn now, he lost his initiative, I took his knight, and he just lost that potential. And the rest of the game is, from here, it's pretty basic. He leaves a hanging pawn, and I'm afraid of rooks in the back, so I decided to come over here and take. But at this point, yeah, I'm just too far ahead. And with that big move, that was the big resigning moment, I think. Even without that, even if that didn't happen, let's say he made a much more valuable move at this point. Right now, he's at 2 major pieces, whereas I am up 2 minor pieces. Or I mean, he has 2 major pieces, where I have equal amount of major pieces and 6 points of minor pieces. And a better structure. So, it's a very cool game. Alright. Well, now that we've looked at this game, why don't we not do a computer analysis tonight, because I'm getting pretty tired now. What we'll do is look at the second game really quickly and call it a night. And I'm sorry this game or this video has turned out to be so long, and I'm sorry I'm talking in such a Bob Rossi go to sleep kind of voice with this really relaxing piano and guitar music, but it's been a long day, and thankfully this game is only 21 moves short, so let's just keep on playing. So it started with me promising you the Ruy Lopez, and then me not doing that, and now it says that white is in a much better position, and with the moves that I make, black has been pressured to take a shittier starting game, and now I'm probably going to do something that the computer thinks is kind of stupid, but really this is all part of my plan to take over the middle. So here we go. We're going to make him defend further on the left side, and that apparently wasn't the best way to keep putting pressure, but whatever. He keeps on defending on the queen side. I start moving up, and now I've kind of made a big deal. And apparently at this point, I'm up 13 points. What? Apparently there was some kind of magic move I could have made where I won everything. Oh yes, this was the magic move point, and I just flubbed it. It's gonna go down. Painful, thankfully. Oh, I flubbed it by 9 points. That's so shameful. And at this point, he takes, I take, and then he moves his queen back. But at this point, it's too late. I've strategically fixed my pieces in a way being double sure so that I can just become the most gigantic nuisance in his life. And he tried, but really there was no way that this game was going to end well for him. So I'm quite happy about strategically leading him into a kind of dangerous positions. But really, as much credit can be given to me, it was this play here that really flubbed it for him. And that sucks. But this play is like super hard on black side. What is black supposed to do, right? Wait, is black supposed to do this? I don't think black's supposed to do that. Is this any better? No. No, no. What is black supposed to do? Is this what black's supposed to do? No. No. Oh. Yeah, no. This is just not a good place to be. There's another fart there. And so far we're even. Maybe just do that. There you go. No. This is apparently major disappointment. This, yeah, is pretty fucking horrible. That's definitely not the answer. Yeah, that's pretty shit. So I'm not exactly sure what black's supposed to do when this is given. What's the best move that black can do? Ah. Yeah. Ah. Right, double attacked. Developing while defending. What the dicks? Okay. You know, it's funny watching the computer change their minds about the correct move sometimes. This is okay, interesting. Get the queen out ASAP, you're saying. I'm gonna let the computer settle here. And he's saying at this point, go for the trade. Go for the trade. Interesting. Okay. Huh. Castle. Castle. Scotch. Scotch game seems pretty strong. But yeah, I don't know. It honestly doesn't seem like it's at this point, I think black does have to take a losing position. So personally, in my games of defense, I've been doing this more often than not, which seems to be worse. But yeah, I don't know. It's just been the only way that I can stop this kind of pressure from coming, right? But yeah, anyway, that's the game as I've seen it so far. Well, that was fun. I'm pretty tired now. I hope you guys had a good night, and I'm sorry we didn't get to analyze the games with a computer. Maybe next time we'll do so. But I don't know. Computer analysis makes me hesitant because oftentimes I don't see exactly what the computer is trying to suggest to me. Like, even if it suggests move, I don't understand their play potential, their strategic power. But I think it probably sees a lot more. If it does turn out to be a tactical mistake, a lot of times the computer can probably help me with that. So we should turn on the computer next time. And next time, here's what I promise. Next time if a person rematches me, I will make sure to talk to them and add them as a friend so that I can play them later. But we will stick to one game a video. That's what we should do. Well, I hope you guys had a good night. I've had fun. I got to win 2 games, and the second game was quite strategically interesting. Yeah. I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow.